Thank you for joining the Asheville Rise Stronger Together podcast. This is your host, Jessica Knupp with the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce. I hope you enjoy today's episode. This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, True Point Bank. Today we are here with Russ Towers with Second Gear, and we're so excited to have you. I know you guys have been through so much with the hurricane and seeing the other side of it. But tell us a little bit about the business and how you got started.
Well, Jessica, thanks for the opportunity to come and share our story. Second Gear is a 21-year-old business. We opened in 2004 in West Asheville. It's a outdoor adventure retailer that's consignment focused, and so about 70% of what we sell is consigned, and those items come in from the general public from all over the region, as well as outdoor gear reps. We get some dealer samples. The other 30% of what we sell are accessories, really kind of fill in the blanks, but we focus on hiking, biking, paddling, camping, climbing, kind of the mountain sports, if you will. And one way to describe Second Gear, if you haven't been there, is that it's kind of like it's the love child of REI and Play It Again Sports. Maybe it's kind of used and new, but kind of everything you'd find at REI. But that's what we are. And the name comes from kind of as it's like wordplay, as in secondhand gear.
I love it. And how did you did you just come up with this idea and you're like, I've always wanted to do this?
No, I didn't always want to sell used clothing and used shoes.
It sounds like a dream for me, but okay.
I was growing up, I was really into sports, typical traditional sports. I grew up in Hamilton, Ohio. There's a sporting goods store there called Clark's Sporting Goods that's still around, longer than my lifetime. And I would love to go down to Clark's and just kind of spend hours just kind of looking around at gear and all that stuff. So maybe that was in my DNA. But anyway, the inspiration for Second Gear came shortly after I moved here, and my wife and I moved here, and we were drawn by what a lot of folks are, the outdoor environment here, outdoor opportunities. Well, I was looking for a road bike. I had a hybrid bike, and I was also interested in getting a mountain bike, but I didn't. And back then, there was no Craigslist. There was, really nobody here in town, none of the bike shops selling used bikes. And so it really came out of looking for a used bike. And I was also interested in acquiring other used things to try a sport out, like a kayak. I didn't want to go out and buy something brand new.
What if you don't like it? And then you have this big thing.
Yeah, and it would seem like a waste of money to buy something brand new. So it was like, and I was working in commercial real estate, and so I was already involved with what was going on, particularly on Haywood Road, a lot in West Asheville. So had this idea of, why isn't there a place where you can buy all the used gear? That's what we were thinking of, not so much used clothing. And so I started researching it, and ultimately thought, well, this could work. This is done in other communities, particularly mountain towns, outdoor focus. So it was just like a lot of small businesses where it came out of kind of a personal experience of like, well, why isn't somebody offering this service or this product? And I didn't have any retail background. I had real estate background. So initially teamed up with other partners that had more background like that were former Outward Bound instructors and knew the outdoors. So kind of meshed up our skills. So we started on Haywood Road at 415 Haywood Road. And I'm going to come back to later on a story about that, but we were in the same building with Harvest Records that's been around for 21 years now. They opened a few months after we did, and I was like, wow, a record store, and they're still around too. So
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
So we were there for 17 years on Haywood Road, and then 3 years to the month we moved. In September 21 we opened up at 99 Riverside Drive in the River Arts District, directly across from New Belgium. So we were there for 3 years. Our building, you could see it from the Clingman Avenue Haywood Road Bridge. And what we did beforehand was, we had a plan that we wanted to get some things out of there beforehand. We had a truck rented, and I rolled up to the store on Thursday morning thinking, oh, okay, well, we're going to go get the truck and we'll start loading some things up. But all the rain the night before, there was already water to the building Thursday morning at 8 o'clock before the real storm came in, and the road was closing. There was the river had already breached, and so we had to go to Plan B, which was just get things up off the floor, which I think that's what some people did. In hindsight, I wish we'd been a little bit more proactive, maybe a day before to get some things out of there. But ultimately, what happened was, as a lot of people standing on that bridge, I was on that same bridge watching the water come all the way up. This is Friday now after kind of the storm had passed, and water's to the roof. And then later on, I guess maybe that day, I guess it was later that day, all this debris came down river, and our building was a concrete block building built in the 60s, so not one of these historic brick buildings that held up really well. And it just got decimated. All that debris hit, and half the building collapsed, and essentially we lost everything. All of our inventory, all of our furniture, fixtures, equipment. We lost the investment we made into that building. We had anticipated being there for 15 years or more. We had that control of the building for that long, and we weren't naive that we were operating in a flood zone, but at the same time, you make investment for the long term. With our business being that old, or having some history behind us, we felt like we could commit for that long. So watching from that bridge, it was, and I've shared this with other people, it was surreal. It was like watching a disaster movie, and you're in the movie at the same time, and you're watching it with all these people that are on the bridge. And I came down there several times over that weekend and just kind of watched what was happening. And by Monday, I could get down to kind of rode my bike back behind the building. But while I was on that bridge, I would see people that I knew and talk to them and get support and comfort. And man, it's so hard to see this. And then just hearing people that didn't know me and my affiliation with the business say, "Oh, that's Second Gear. Oh, I love that business." So that really, as we talk about kind of the path forward, that really gave me inspiration that wow, the community really loves us, and that we need to move forward, find a way forward.
Oh man.
But it was hard to watch. But at the same time, I will tell you that, as you would get bits and pieces of information of how extensive the storm was, initially I was kind of kicking myself, oh, we should have been better prepared. And then you see, wow, this is beyond being prepared.
Right.
But I also try to put it in perspective of, okay, we lost everything, but nobody died, nobody's hurt, it's not somebody's home. 70% of what's in there people have enjoyed and they've kind of moved on from. So it was just stuff, and I tried to put that in perspective at the time. That helped me work through it too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're also like in that moment, you have a staff, and like working through that. Like, how did you guys kind of like maneuver through that whole aspect?
Yeah. COVID gave us a little bit of background on how to do that. And early on, I was thinking about, okay, how's this different from COVID? COVID had no playbook. I mean, nobody knew what to do early on. And whereas I was thinking the first couple of days, okay, we've not been through this, but there's a support out there for natural disasters, and I don't know what that's going to look like, but I have confidence, whether that's FEMA or other things, that there's going to be some support here. We're not going to be alone in this, and there's already a structure in place how to get through a natural disaster to some extent. But at the time of the storm, or right after the storm, we had 18 people on staff, and going back to COVID, where we had to lay some people off or furlough some people. So what we did initially was we laid off 11 people, and we kept a core group of 7 kind of as a recovery group for the first few weeks, working anywhere from full-time to very part-time. And as our business has grown, fortunately, as it turned out, people had very specific roles. I had a marketing lead, I had people doing buying, people that had very specific roles. So when we had to kind of work through, okay, what's next, those people had assignments and kind of had their areas of focus that they ran with. But those 11 people that were laid off, they applied for unemployment. We early on, like a lot of businesses, we initiated a GoFundMe campaign, and we raised to support our staff, both the ones that we laid off, and to be able to give them something and to pay the recovery team. So we raised, that campaign raised about $40,000 was our goal from 400 donors. So it was just the community, immediate support was amazing. So that helped us get through to take care of those folks. We had, financial reserves that we could pay people. So yeah, that was kind of the immediate of how we dealt with the staff, and the staff understood. And in the first early days, what was really critical was the Asheville Chamber of Commerce and Explore Asheville opened their doors to small businesses. There was no internet, there was no power, no water. We were in survival mode, but at the same time, you're having to address your business. So I was able to, my staff and myself, we were able to work out of here and Explore Asheville, and we were able to do that, just like within hours or a couple days from after the storm, and that was really a lifeline to get us, I wouldn't say totally back on our feet, but we did. We were able to move pretty quickly on a path forward.
That's great. Were you able to utilize any of the resources through FEMA or Small Business Administration?
I would say that I did meet with
local grants.
Yeah, we did. I'll answer the FEMA and the SBA question. Yeah, I met with the SBA folks that were here at the chamber. Actually, the first afternoon they were here to learn about what was available, which was a loan program, which was great. However, Second Gear, like a lot of other businesses, we had a COVID idle loan still in place that we used to grow or to expand and to move and to. So that's not a forgivable loan, and there were personal guarantees on that. And so early on, not knowing what's next, it was like, well, I'm not going to commit to a loan right now. So we ended up not getting an SBA loan. Some of the owners put money in to keep things going, but the one of the resources that was key going forward for a lot of businesses, particularly small businesses, was the collaboration between the Chamber, Explore Asheville, the Downtown Association, and Asheville Grown, where they had info sessions on different topics, and they had that down at Mojo Co-working every week for the first 4 weeks or so, and that I thought was a great resource for the small business community here.
Oh, that's great to hear.
But grants, and we ended up applying for grants. We've gotten 6 grants totaling about $100,000. Wow. I'm going to back up, but our loss as a business from the storm was about $700,000 is what we calculated between what we lost in kind of the sticks and bricks and all the equipment and then inventory and lost revenue and all that. So that's a big chunk to have to a big hole to dig out of. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're so glad as the chamber to be able to offer those, the internet, and some people didn't even have power, and we did. We didn't have water for a while, but we don't have to have water to work. At least we had the internet, and so
we had porta-johns.
We did. They were very nice. You could wash your hands out there and everything.
That was a luxury back
I know it really was. And then that one cold snap hit, and I was like, oh man. And luckily, the water came back on that day. I was like, yes. So is there anything, that you would, anything else you'd like to share?
Oh gosh, I could share all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned before being on the bridge and just seeing that, the community support. Shortly after the storm, I got my team together. Well, first I got the ownership group together and the team together, and it was pretty, we had a consensus that, okay, we have a 21-year-old business, it's thriving. We've got great community support. We've got a staff that wants to work, and people that are have careers with this business, and we've got loans and so forth. So okay, I don't know. We're going to move forward, and I told the team, I'm talking about early October, that okay, we're going to move forward. Here are some options where we might move. I don't know how we're going to finance this right now. We're going to figure it out. There are going to be grants out there. There's going to be help. but we'll figure out the path forward. And I felt confident in that, and the staff did too, and everybody did want to move forward with it. It was like no reason to, like, why would you close?
Right.
And for us, being a retailer, and where a lot of our, one of our best months is December, we were really motivated to try to get open to catch at least some of the holiday season. So we were really fortunate that the former Frugal Backpacker space next to Earth Fair was available. And it didn't need much work, which was key. It was in a thriving shopping center that's well known. People know that location. It's next to Earth Fair, big driver. Earth Fair is a great match to what we do. And so we signed the lease on November, we negotiated the lease terms for a few weeks, signed that lease November 15th, opened up December 10th, and just have been, it's been exceeding our expectations there. It's been great. So the community support was, when we opened up, was terrific. I will also say, as far as community support, that when the building got decimated and everything goes downriver, we've got nothing left. We had hundreds of consigners that had stuff sell in September. We offered to our consigners, we can pay you, we could defer, or you could just forego payment. And hundreds of consigners just said, don't worry about it. I want you to come back. And so that was thousands of dollars. And same way with people that had things in the store that got lost, that were lost. They just said, don't worry about it. We weren't legally obligated to pay that, but most people said, don't worry about it. What we offered folks was, we can't pay you cash, but you can either forego or we'll give you store credit. And that's what we did for a lot of people, chose the store credit route. So.
How many vendors did you say you had?
We have, consigners every month, anywhere from 600 to 800 consigners from all over the region. And so when we were looking for a new location, that was also important, that because people are coming from all over, we really needed to stay centrally located, so it would be easy for folks to get to, and that's worked out really well. There's great parking at Westgate. It's central, and also tourism is a big part of our customer base as well, whether they find us driving by or just a Google search, or they're visiting friends and family. So we also wanted to be central because we wanted to be near the hotels downtown and close by, and the attractions and the restaurants and the River Arts District. So and down in West Asheville. So
I think it's a great area, and also the ease of getting in and out of that. But just to see the community to come together, and then also knowing, we missed out on October and November, which are high traffic tourism times, but then knowing that December, holiday shopping and people wanting to get new things, and just making an effort for you and your staff, and I'm sure just that emotionally it was just,
it felt great. It was it felt great to get the holiday season in, to welcome people back. They were so ready for us. We got flooded with consignment items. Flooded with consignment items, so much so the first couple of weeks we just said, hey, time out, we need time to process all of this. And that it was remarkable, the support that we had. It was. That's great. Had we waited, we could have chosen just to, okay, we're just gonna wait this out, come back in the spring, but we felt like we'd lose momentum. We felt like we'd lose staff, we'd lose the holiday season, and frankly, I thought, well, somebody could come in and copy what we're doing and kind of come in up under us. So it was kind of like protect yourself in the marketplace, which was, so strategically we felt like we needed to move sooner than later, and we had the people there to do it, and we did have flood insurance on our contents, and we're still waiting on that claim. So fortunately we weren't relying on that to reopen. So because of all the other support that we got from the community, from grants, from GoFundMe, from just all the other funding sources. So we're really, really fortunate from that standpoint.
Is there anything, looking back to that you've learned that you would take out of this experience?
Well, obviously the community support and resilience and of my staff and team to we had to totally pivot, go to a new spot, buy everything brand new, and again, people having their already kind of designated roles made that a little simpler, or not simpler, nothing was simple about it, but
Right.
smoother.
Yeah.
I guess I've just learned just how committed and passionate small business people are here in the area and helping each other out.
Yeah.
Our contractor, Trey Greer, who owns Elm Construction, and I've had a long relationship with Trey. We've worked on several projects, both with Second Gear and some investments that I have. That Trey simultaneously before working on our project to get into Westgate, he was working at down at Corner Kitchen with them and with French Broad Chocolate Lounge to get them back up and running. But Trey said, I'm going to do whatever I can. We're gonna make it happen so you can get open as soon as you can before the holidays. And he and his team, there wasn't a whole lot to do, but they made it happen. They squeezed it in, and while also working on other projects. So just seeing how people stepped up. I will tell you also that I felt as a business, when you see everything that was going on around, of almost guilty that you saw all these people that stepped up and helped strangers and people coming from outside the area, inside the area, and it was all we could do just to try to save the business and save these employees their jobs. And I really couldn't, and my staff felt the same way, like, gosh, I wish we could go out and help other people to the extent that others are helping others. I mean, we did some of that, but it was really just trying to survive and get back open to serve the community and to keep the business going. So I don't know if that's a lesson, but that's more of a reflection.
Right. Well, I mean, I think reflections can be lessons.
The other lesson is I say this kind of jokingly, but also seriously, is, we really didn't it was Wednesday afternoon before the storm, we're like, okay, this is going to get bad. We need to make plan for this, to go get a truck and so forth. In hindsight, we should have done that before. So I guess the lesson learned is when you see a storm coming, just assume the worst and plan a few days ahead, and it's better off not, to overreact than to underreact.
I think we've had to learn the hard way that, I mean, I know I still hear the helicopters, and I heard one the other day and I was like, oh, somebody getting water, somebody getting, so. Yeah. Well, what else
I have a story to share. And I mentioned being on the bridge and kind of watching everything unfold, and keeping perspective and talking to people out on the bridge, and trying to, for lack of a better, keep my together, and not lose it.
Right.
And I did a really good job of that. I'm going to flash back to 2004 when we opened up, and as I mentioned before, we were at 415 Haywood. It was a little mixed-use building from the 20s, two storefronts at the ground level and 4 apartments above. And that building had mailboxes on the outside by the entrance. And our first winter, right before the holidays, one day in our mailbox, this little kind of angelish figurine, this angel figurine shows up in our mailbox. And I just kind of left it there for a few days, or put it out thinking, well, it wasn't intended for us. Maybe somebody meant to put it in one of the mailboxes for the apartment, somebody in one of the apartments. And she was still out there a few days later. And so we brought her in from the cold, and she sat on our counter. We put her on our counter, and we named her Our Lady of the Counter. Oh. And she was kind of a good luck charm, or just kind of, watching over us. I didn't grow up in a religious household, spiritual. I'm not particularly spiritual, but she was along for the ride all through. She moved across the street with us in 2008, was on that counter. She was there for 2008 to 21. She moved down to the River Arts District with us. She was on the counter. So I'm watching the storm, keeping my head together, gotta manage a team, gotta be the leader. I'm laying in bed a few nights after the storm, and it hits me like, oh, wow, everything blew out. There's nothing left. There's in that building, there was a dumpster from the restaurant Vivian down half a mile away. There were bales of the recycled cardboard and stuff just strewn all over the place. There were timbers. There was everything but what we had in there. It was just a absolute wreck. Our whole sales counter, it was gone, and it was big. It had a concrete top on it. So I'm laying in bed, and bam, it hit me. I'm like, oh, Our Lady of the Counter is gone. And it was symbolic. It's like, oh, have I lost my business? I mean, and that's where the tears came.
Right.
And I kind of, that was my release. So that was, a few days after the storm, and okay, that felt good to get that out. So over the next few weeks, we're kind of in and out of the building. It's dangerous to be in there. The building's half collapsed. There's nothing really to pick through. We got a few things out that were back where it wasn't collapsed. I looked for Our Lady of the Counter. I was looking down at the end where everything had kind of washed down. And she's not that big, and there's this huge stuff in there. There's silt, there's mud.
Yeah.
I can't find her. And I okay, she's gone. Well, towards the end of November, I was there. We were filming with Bob Peck. Bob has a business called Mainstream Films, and he was doing these little documentary films on businesses that have been impacted by the storm. So I'm down there with Chris Webster, one of my managing owners with me, and this was literally just going to be the last day that we were going to be in that building because we're about to open up. And we're on camera. You hear how reality shows are scripted. This was unscripted. And I'm on camera. Bob's interviewing me. Chris is off to the side, kind of near where the sales counter had been. And he says, "Look what I found."
Oh my goodness.
And he found the angel, Our Lady of the Counter. I'll show you what she looked like when I found her.
Okay, what did she look like? I was wondering when you had your bag, I was like, she's in there. This is unbelievable.
So she was covered in silt. She's sitting in the back of my car at the
Get a
time.
picture of that, yep.
She was covered in silt, and so I took her home, and she cleaned up really nicely.
Good.
And she wasn't too damaged.
Wow.
So this is Our Lady of the Counter that survived Helene. This is where it gets tough.
Yeah.
Once we found her, I'm like, okay, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this.
Yeah.
We're about to open up in a new space. The holidays are coming. We're kind of leaving this spot, but we didn't leave her behind.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like, not just for us, but for Asheville,
Yeah.
it's going to be okay.
It's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have to go get her today to bring her over here?
She is now, yes, I did.
Okay.
She better
be on the counter.
She's not on the counter. She's in the display counter. She's below the counter.
She is in a prize spot now.
Yeah. So she's been
great.
with us for 20. She's got a little dinged up, but all in all,
Hey, she made it.
she survived.
She did. That is amazing. What a wonderful story. I'm gonna put her right here. I love that. That is so cool. I'm glad she made it here today.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad you made it here today. Well, gosh.
I told you,
I know.
And it was so wild that happened while we were filming, and it was like I had to kind of relay that story, but much quicker on film, and it was not scripted at all. And that we were going to be leaving there. That would be the last time in there before the building got
that is so cool.
demolished.
You know, there's a lot of I saw one of my friends had posted like an old teddy bear that they cleaned up, and they were like, could this be? You know, and like trying to make those connections.
My wife found one of those too that we've cleaned up. He's accompanying her in the sales counter.
I love that. That is so cool.
Barely is his name, as I barely survived.
Barely. Oh, gosh, I love it. Man, what an inspiration you are to our business community. Thank you so much for all that you do with the Asheville Chamber.
I'm happy to do it.
We love it. Gosh. All right, Russ, tell us how we can find you.
Yeah, so we're at 52 Westgate Parkway, which is in the Westgate Shopping Center next to Earth Fair.
Okay.
And right off of I-240. And we also, all of our product is online. Most everything is online on our website at secondgearwnc.com.
Okay.
And that's
that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for the opportunity, Jessica. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks.
If you enjoyed today's episode, like, comment, and subscribe. To learn more about joining the Asheville Chamber, scan the QR code on your screen or visit ashevillechamber.org. Until next time!